What's up, Falcon fans? This is the recap video where we discuss what happened to the Atlanta Falcons. If you guys like this type of content, hit that like button. If you guys hate this type of content, hit that dislike button. We'll hurt your boy's feelings, well, maybe just a little bit. But also, if you want to do a huge favor for your boy by hitting that subscribe button, it will help out the empire grow tremendously. So on that note, let's talk about the good, the bad, and the Falcons. So let's get started with the good. The Falcons defense definitely stepped up their game, sacking Baker Mayfield 3 times when he barely got sacked all season, with 5 so far until then. So that's fantastic. We made sure that he felt uncomfortable with his throws, and he was throwing a lot with 42 passing attempts, only completed 27 of those for a grand total of 275 passing yards. Only got 1 touchdown. It could have been 3 touchdowns, but I'm so glad we stopped them at the red zone twice. So that's fantastic. Instead of them scoring 14 points, they only got to score 6 total points. And also, the Atlanta Falcons defense have not allowed the opposing running backs to score any single rushing touchdowns against us so far this season. We completely shut down the Tampa Bay Buccaneers rushing attack with a grand total of 73 total rushing yards. Now, if you minus that Baker Mayfield 31 long, it would have been 42 total rushing yards. So that's a fantastic job we've done there. We have completely smothered a lot of the opponent's rushing game, and that's been keep going strong so far, week to week basics. So that's fantastic work. I have 2 individual shout outs. One is AJ Terrell. He was covering, Mike Evans. Mike Evans did get the best of him on that one play on that go route. But besides that, he did a fantastic job in making sure that Mike Evans didn't go over 100 yards. Because we all know Mike Evans is a G. He got 3 pass deflections. Great job. And then, of course, we got to talk about David Ayamada, who did a fantastic job. 4 total tackles, 3 quarterback hits, 1 sack, 1 tackle for loss. So he did a fantastic job, and he's been a baller ever since, stepping in the battlefield. So now let's talk about the offense. Tyler Algier and CP both did a fantastic job in the run. They both got the carries of the ball. They both got over 50-plus rushing yards, and they both did a fantastic job in making sure that the ball wasn't fumbled. Security was the king. Now, when it comes to Desmond Ridder, his passing game was pretty good. 25 attempts, 19 completions for 250 yards, no touchdowns, but no interceptions. He only took 1 sack, so he did a fantastic job inside the pocket and outside the pocket. I like his run, plays, 6 in run attempts, 38 total rushing yards, 1 touchdown, should have been 2, but besides that, I thought he did a pretty good job. Now, the fumblings, that's a different story, but I don't really put the blame on him. I know some people will, but let's talk about the bad. Penalties was definitely one of the major issues on why the Atlanta Falcons were struggling so bad against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and vice versa, because we had 9 total penalties. That was the grand total of 60 yards. And then when it comes to first down from the penalty marks for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, we allowed them to have 6 of those where we were tugging or pulling, the wide receivers to get them that first down conversions. That really helped them sustain the drive a lot longer. That shouldn't have, because then the Atlanta Falcons could have had a more opportunity for the passing game to go onto the field and make more plays. But besides that, the turnovers, the 3 fumbles, now they're labeling Desmond Ridder to blame for these, but I would argue 1 out of the 3 wasn't his fault. So the first one, I will suggest that Shaq Barrett just did a really good push-up against Caleb McGarry, beat his man, and Desmond Ridder didn't even notice that Caleb McGarry lost the battle. And so when he was trying to throw the ball, he just got mollywopped, and it was on his blind side, so he didn't even see him. So you can't really blame that on the quarterback, because that's not the quarterback's job to have his blind side look. That's why you go pay a big dude to do that type of mentality job. So Caleb McGarry, that's his fault. So number 2, we can argue that Drew Dolman snapped the ball pretty badly where Desmond Ridder didn't get a good grip on it, or we can say it's a 50-50 where both parties of the center and the quarterback didn't do a really good job in securing that ball to make that fumble. But I will say that Desmond Ridder did try to, contain that football when the ball was out. So it's not like he just stood there and did nothing. No, he tried to grab the ball and he had his hand on it. But of course, the rookie, whatever rookie it was, that he grabbed the ball, entirely. So now let's talk about the third one. At first glance, we all thought that Desmond Ridder did that nice 12-yard run rushing touchdown on the left side. Of course, we all thought he broke the plane, but again, Antoine Wilfield Jr. just Peanut Tillman punched that ball out. And you know what? At the end of the day, it was a touchback, but ballers gonna ball because on the other side of the field, they have Pro Bowler players, and they still have players that won the Super Bowl a couple of years ago. So they're a very tough defensive team unit that we shouldn't take them lightly. But on that note, let's talk about the Falcons. I don't know why I failed to mention this in the very beginning, but Younghoe Koo stole the show for the Atlanta Falcons with his 3 field goal kicks attempts, with all of them being, in 100% accuracy. The final kick for him, that 51 long to make us win this game instead of trying to go overtime. So it was 16-13. So fantastic job on his department, and it just shows you that kickers are very important to the NFL game. So when it came to Arthur Smith planning attack against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, I like the equality what we had here with the rushing and with the receiving. 38 attempts in the rushing departments and 25 attempts in the passing department. A nice equal balance between each other. We have to give it up to the Atlanta Falcons coaches and the players because they just had the will of fire in a total of 60 minutes, because after that first drive for the touchdown, it kind of went downhill with punts, field goals, fumbles, punts, fumbles, field goals, fumbles, punts, and then finally a field goal. So, the motor, the drive, the passion of them continuously playing 60 minutes of this brutal game is, believe me, it could crack a lot of people. And sometimes when we see it on the battlefield, they don't feel like playing the entirety of the game, but they fought it thin and through until the very end of when the whistle was blown. So fantastic job on that department. And I know some people are saying we should have blown them out. Obviously, you could make a really good argument that's true. Instead of having those 2 field goals, they could have been touchdowns. And that fumble, they could have got 3 points. And this could have been a different story. But that's a woulda, coulda, shoulda type of situation. And at the end of the day, we won. And that's all that matters. Because the Tampa Bay Buccaneers can also say, if we didn't have those field goals and turn those into touchdowns, it would be 14. And if Baker Mayfield didn't get that interception with Richie Grant, if that could have been a touchdown or a field goal. So it would have been a close game no matter what the situation is. But on that note, if you guys lasted this long to the very end of the episode, thank you guys so much for taking your own personal time and day to watch this Falcon content videos. Here's more on the screen if you guys like it. So what do Falcons do? Rise up. Until the next episode, show love and peace to the world, and peace.